Howdy, bitch.
Welcome to Coming Up for Air, an introspective podcast. Hiya.
How you doing?
How's it going, guys? I'm your co-host, Jaxon.
I'm your co-host, Brendan.
Yep, we're back at it again. Never letting you intro.
Yeah, never again after last episode. Absolutely not. That was rough. Honestly, I need like
Cue card.
Yeah, like I need
You need a teleprompter back there.
Yeah, I need the script. You know what I mean? That's why we leave it up to you.
Yeah, it's all in the big old brain palace.
Yeah, your absolute ginormous brain.
That's crazy. So today we're talking about unconditional love and
Ministry of Presence. I was gonna think about it for a second.
So Brendan picked our topic completely today. So it's gonna actually be a switch up. It's gonna be a lot more of him guiding and leading this conversation probably, and me just chiming in.
Yeah, Jackson's gonna try and make sure that we kind of like space it out to an hour. I'm just gonna try and keep throwing in topics and kind of like
I will have stuff to say. But it might be a role switch from what it normally is, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, Jackson is gonna be the one kind of responding.
Yeah, we'll get to how this happened later, but let's start off with a check-in. Oh, I guess I should say, in that we're going to talk about why we're talking about this. We're going to talk about what being a minister of presence is, unconditional love, and if it's good or not, and real, the ways you can show it, the way you can show love in friendships and relationships, and why being present is important, and self-love. Kind of some topics.
Some good topics.
Yeah.
Some very self-nurturing topics. You know? Kiss you on the forehead.
You want to start a check-in? Papa kiss.
Yeah, I wanted to check in, and because I was obviously Jackson knows this because I was just talking to him about it.
That's crazy. It's almost like we talk before we record.
Exactly.
If you wouldn't believe it, we just come in. I set everything up silently, and he just stares at me intensely.
Don't say a word.
He sets up the lights, and then we just stare at each other and go,
"Ready?"
And then like we finger count down. We go 3, 2, 1, but just with our hands.
I didn't know if you were just gonna stop it.
We just finger each other, and then we start, and then we hit record.
Crazy.
And that's the first time that we talk.
Literally all day. Got to keep everything fresh, you know. No, I wanted to check in and oh, that's crazy. I hate you. I wanted to talk about kind of like, so there's a thing, right, when people trip on psychedelics, it's called an ego death. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it before, but I don't know. I kind of killed my own ego on some like non-tripping, like just me being in my own head and understanding like where I was at in life, and kind of like the God complex that I was holding myself onto. And I thought I had killed kind of like this God complex of like me being angry at the world owing me something. And I kind of got a little bit better about it, but it was definitely still like, all right.
Man doesn't even give me cred.
Okay, yes, Jackson is definitely a part of that. Jackson has told me plenty of times, like, even last episode, if you watch it, he looked at me and told me, it's just because you're still angry at the world. And he was right. You know what I mean? I definitely was still angry at the world for a lot of shit that had happened to me. I kind of blamed the world for it. And for me, the reason why the topics that we have for today is because I watched this podcast between John...
It's John Bernthal.
Yeah, John Bernthal. He played Punisher.
He's also Shane in The Walking Dead.
I've never watched The Walking Dead, so...
He's a fucking asshole. Oh. He's also in a boxing movie.
He is in a boxing movie?
Oh, what's that boxing movie called? Is it The Grudge Match?
Might be. No, Grudge Match is between...
The old guys. Yeah, and the Irish guy.
That shit's hilarious.
Is it the one where it's like Rocky or Creed, but not?
No. Either way, he goes and has this. It's called Real Ones, and he has the episode with Shia Labeouf. It went viral. The clip where it says like Shia LaBeouf's like, oh, like in the end, I'm gonna be okay, and if I'm not okay, I know it's not the end. And that like that shit, that clip alone, like that sound bit went fucking viral. And he talked about a lot of.
I've even heard that sound clip.
Yeah, yeah, like that sound bit went viral. Just because it obviously.
Fuck you! It is Grudge Match.
Is it?
Yeah, that movie only got a 6.4 out of 10. What the fuck? Anyway,
that's hilarious. But yeah, it's just a really good episode.
Right.
I think people, especially, I always kind of hate like directing it towards a certain like sex, but I think men in general should go and watch Shia LaBeouf as a man from where he has like me and you just talked. He was at the top, right? He was known as like one of
He was at the bottom, then he was at the top.
Well, yeah, and then he like as soon as Transformer hit, it was like, oh, this kid is like.
Not even before then. He was pretty popping before then.
Well, as a kid, that's kind of all I remember him in. And it's like
yeah, well, before then he was really popping. He ended up getting his own Disney show.
Oh, Even Stevens. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. And then he was in something else, and then he was in Transformers.
Yeah, so yeah, like my man's was definitely putting on for himself, you know what I mean, and really doing his shit, taking care of his shit. And then obviously all these allegations.
And then he did the "I'm not famous anymore" thing.
Yeah,
and the flag thing.
Yeah, and it like there's a paper trail of just shit that man done. And to kind of see where his mindset is at now, where he is as a human being. And how he looks at the world based off of the shit that he's done. Because like he even says it. He goes, I know I'm a disgusting human being. He said, my fuck ups and me making amends to him is a lifetime amen. It's going to cost me my entire life force for me to make amends to the people that I've hurt, to the people that I fucked over. And, you know, he even talks about like him like killing his own ego and realizing like, you know, having to get off his high horse and like.
You ever see Peanut Butter Falcon?
Peanut Butter what?
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Absolutely not.
It's this new movie. Well, it's not new, actually. It's whenever he started coming back and he was directing and stuff. Before the other movie that he made about his dad.
Honey Boy?
Yeah, before Honey Boy, he made Peanut Butter Falcon. And he's in it. And that's a really good movie. It's like really sad, but it's really good.
I might have to watch it. But yeah, it
highly
just
recommend.
I don't know, it definitely resonated with me just because, like I said, I've been angry at the world for just a lot of shit that happened to me that's like, I don't know, I guess I thought that, you know, bad shit shouldn't have happened to me just because of the, you know, quote unquote good person I was trying to be and, you know, the good energy I was trying to put out and stuff like that. And it was like, you know, whether or not I want to accept it or whether or not I wanted shit to change, shit happens for a reason. I'm put in certain situations because those certain situations are either meant to break me or mold me into something that I don't see in the future. You know what I mean? It kind of really just hit me. Like I told Jaxon, like I bawled my eyes out after watching that fucking episode because it was just more of like it was a real life wake up call to the point of like, all right, bro, you need to get the fuck up off your high horse. You need to chill the fuck out. Nobody owes you shit. And it really just kind of gave me a thought of kind of like going back to the person who I used to be, but with, it's just more of like, all right, I have walls up, I have boundaries, I have shit that I don't let slide. But I need to go back to genuinely trying. As growing up, the thing that always got me going was pouring into other people. I was just that type of person. My personality was, if I can make people laugh, if I can make people happy, if I can make people smile, in return, that gratification of like me making someone laugh or me making someone happy, smile, whatever the fuck it may be, it made me feel good. You know what I mean? And then after a while, it kind of like, I took that away from myself and just isolated myself because I was like, I don't think anyone else deserves this shit because so-and-so, like certain people fucked me over or this happened to me in my life with, you know, this said job or whatever the fuck excuse I wanted to throw at it. That's just, it's me not wanting to swallow that pill and accept it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is that, like, at the start of this podcast, I was the only person you were talking to.
Absolutely.
For about the first, like, 2 months or so of this podcast, like, I was the only person you talked to.
On a regular basis, yeah, absolutely. It was like I would talk to my homie, like, other people, like, here and there, but, like, on a consistent basis, like, on who knew how I was doing and who knew what I was up to on a daily basis, absolutely, yeah. You were probably the only person that genuinely knew what I was on a daily basis.
Yeah, and we both were kind of like in the same mindset also of like, fuck these people, like,
yeah,
fuck
just,
everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, like we definitely were both in a very toxic work environment.
Not even just that, but I think that like we both hit a point of like, we were really frustrated with the stuff going on around us, and we both understood that we were both really upset about some of the stuff going on, and we were the only ones who felt like we didn't keep screwing each other over.
Yeah. And, you know, even now, like, I can't pinpoint one thing that Jaxon has ever done wrong. So for me, it's like, that's the reason why Jaxon has always been around, or, you know what I mean? Because, like you said, like, we've just never have done anybody, like, we've never done each other dirty, nor do we have any reason to. And I think it's just crazy because, like, when you do think about it and how easy we've made it when it comes to, like, not fucking each other over, just not being a piece of shit to each other, it's not that hard. And we both understand, like, from a human being concept, like, just be a good fucking human being and we'll vibe.
Yeah, I even remember whenever you got into RG, you offered, like, hey, like, I can put in a word for you, I can try and get you in, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And like, and like, that small little thing still means so much, you know?
Yeah, and for me, it was just more because I knew you, as of used to being, you know, in comp, in CSGO and stuff like that, he always kind of talked about, like, oh, like, I've always thought about trying to get back into the comp scene, yada, yada, this and that. So as soon as I got the opportunity for it, I was like, fuck it. Like, you know, if I eat, the homies eat. You know what I mean? Type shit.
And that's what we've always been.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's what it always has been. And I need to go back to kind of giving that type of energy, but just to everybody. So rather than me keeping the mindset of, until you give me a reason to show you why I should treat you the way I should treat you, I'm going to treat you the way I should treat you off rip, and then you give me a reason not to, and there's no excuse after that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm the type of person, rather than cutting those people short off rip, I owe you at least a chance. Technically, I don't owe you that chance, but in my mind, I do owe you that chance for you to prove to me that, okay, he's a good person. I don't give a fuck about what anybody else has said. And I think I've proven that as a person with the people I've chosen to fuck with sometimes. Like, no matter what anybody else has said about this person, I'm still going to choose to see if this person really wants to be a good person, or if they have the ability to be a good person. You know what I mean? And I've always seen the good in people, and it's obviously a blessing and a curse, but I think I just need to go back to, because it's not fair to me, because I'm not only isolating myself, but it's not fair to anybody else, you know? So, food for thought. That's my check-in, kind of deep. But yeah, hopping off my high horse, telling myself to go fuck myself. What about you, guy?
Mine's also kind of deep. But we're just getting kind of a heavy hitter on the check-in, honestly. But both of our light come-ups are pretty light, so that's the good news. Shut up. So
you already know what's up.
Mine's gonna be talking about, like, living in the now. I've had a lot of stuff happen lately in my life that has kind of been just like moment after moment, like constant something is happening or something's fucked up, or
you're going through the gauntlet right now.
And I have had a lot of moments where it's kind of like just me by myself sitting there. And I'm like either working or, I'm doing whatever, right? And there's like this like infinite expanse of like thoughts that are coming through my mind. And I've been trying to remind myself why I like forced myself to really start focusing on like right here, right now. And it was because I would get so lost. And part of it is that there are people in my life, not just one, but multiple people in my life who are currently doing a lot of this, like being so concerned about what comes next that they're not even acknowledging the right now. They're not living it. They're not enjoying it. They're not breathing the fresh air that is around them. So they're so constricted by this thing that they just almost completely disengage from the fact that they have something good or something like happy in front of them, or they're in a situation where they can just like vibe. You know, I think that both of us know people in our current day-to-day that are very much in that camp. And I think that it's kind of like, I was sitting there and I was thinking, and I was like, the worst my life has ever felt, the worst I've ever personally mentally been doing is when I was so caught up in the fact that I needed to be at the next place. I needed to be with the next person. I needed to be doing the next thing or prepping for this or prepping for that so heavily that it impacted my health and my mental health, because I was so concerned about what comes next that I didn't even realize the time that was passing by. People would talk to me and I wouldn't be able to tell them what day of the week it was because I was so caught up in the next step, the next thing, the next moment, you know? And obviously there's still part of me that does that. There's still part of me that lives in that constant kind of like cycle of like, I'm prepping for something. I I'm working on something, and that's fine. It's more of the, I've learned to slow it down now and kind of be like, I'm here. Because that was something that I was good at. Whenever somebody had to have a serious conversation with me, I would be able to like stop and just be like, I'm here. But now I feel like I've gotten to a point where I do that even when people aren't having serious conversations with me. It's just like a conversation between me and you that's just like for shits and gigs or whatever. It's just like, or
it's still appreciating.
Yeah, it's even when we're just sitting playing games and we're like joking around and we're not live, we're not creating content, we're not going for something or like whatever, you know, and it's just talking.
Just vibes.
Yeah. It feels like I am more here.
And I feel like that also brings more more gratitude, and you're more appreciative of like, all right, I'm glad I have the people.
Yeah, it makes me also notice a lot of the things that the people around me do, you know. The smallest things suddenly echo a lot more or like seem
larger,
more apparent because I'm not so caught up in the like.
You're not just taking a glance at it, or you're not just kind of passing over it.
Yeah, not even just that, but like it's not like I'm just like, okay, this person did this thing, but like, you know, when's the next time I get to see them? When's the next time I can talk to them? Like, how do I know that I'm not going to, this is our last conversation? You know, whatever it might be, like, it's no longer just a constant, like, forward front battle. Instead, I'm thinking about the current one that I'm in. And it's made it so much easier to take the wins when I get them because of the fact that it's like,
you're appreciating that win right there, right now.
Yeah, you know, like today, for example, I don't have a car right now. I got in an accident. A lot of stuff happened with it, and I still don't have a car. And so I'm working on selling a car that I really don't want to get rid of because it has a lot of personal value. And so right now I'm driving a truck my dad's truck, and it wouldn't turn on. It wouldn't turn over. And I was like, the battery's dead because there's been an issue with the door sensor that leaves one of the lights on sometimes. And so I was like, the battery's dead. So I text my dad. I'm like, hey, can you come jump the truck? The only car I have is the Jeep, and it's stuck in the garage because of the truck. Yeah. And so he comes over. We try to jump it. No dice. But it was just the connector on the battery.
Oh, that's good.
That was corroded, and we couldn't tighten it and stuff, and so it was fucked. And so it wasn't like...
That's not good.
No, but it's fine now because we cleaned it. We got it all sorted, got a new bolt in it, so everything's fine. It works. But we thought the battery's dead. And there was like this overwhelming feeling for a second of like, fuck, I have to work today. What am I going to do? You know, I have to do this.
Yeah,
you know, what am I going to do? I don't have a car. Like, I don't want to drive the Jeep because I don't want to put more miles on it because I'm trying to sell it. Yeah. You know, and then I like take a second. And I'm like, it's fine. Because you know what?
You're good.
I'll get to work. This isn't my problem. This isn't my car. Either way, I'm going to get what I need to get.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Then the battery thing turned out fine. Put the bolt in. Works totally fine. Turns on. Yeah. And it was just like this, like, awesome. That's a win. Like that's huge. Like, awesome. We don't have to.
And I also think that has to, like, that's a good thing to do with, especially with the anxiety that you have, and the anxiety that's very quick to creep in,
build up.
Yeah, and is like, as soon as like one thing leads, like I feel like, especially with your anxiety, the domino effect is very quick. It happens very fast.
It's also made me a lot more efficient in high intensity situations, because in high intensity situations
you're able to diffuse it a lot faster.
Well, not even just that, but like when I was like super in high stress situations for like work or whatever, pardon me, I still performed super well. Like I had level head and everything on the outside for the most part. There's definitely times where I lost it, but I like could handle the situation enough to make sure that it kept flowing in a really smooth way. Mm-hmm. Now I feel like I'm in more control of that situation. I can calmly process what needs to get resolved without feeling like I'm freaking out, without like, you know, having a bad minute in that situation. I'm just kind of like constantly like, okay, next thing, like I'm good. This is fine. Yeah. Like, you know, anyway, live in the moment, like live now. There's so much to be gained from it. And the moment that you start to live so much in the what ifs and what's not happening is the moment that you really start to lose everything that's around you.
Big facts.
Anyway, I think that that's going to kind of push us into presence and our main topic of what is being a minister of presence. What is?
So I looked this up because after you had asked me what we wanted to talk about, I put it in. I was like, well, I have to understand like what I guess the definition of ministry of presence is, like by like the book, I guess. And I guess the ministry of presence is in most regards it has to do with religion, and so in most regards it has to do with people having the ministry of presence, or the ministry of love of God. So like being able to be like, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it a prophet. I guess you wouldn't really be a prophet, but I guess it's just you're just showing people's God's love. Like through you, God's love is reaching these other people.
You would be not a prophet, but you'd be not bastion, vehicle.
Yeah, like you're a vessel.
Kind of. Yeah.
For God's love.
Technically that is actually right, yeah.
And so obviously, if you know me, if you know Jaxon,
if you've listened to the religious episode.
Yeah, me and big guy upstairs not really like
talking.
You know what I mean? That's not, yeah. But for me, the way I took it is more of just being a vessel of love in general. Being a vessel of love in the universe. Because, like, okay, the way I kind of thought about it is, like, obviously we wake up and we have to go about our days, right? But if the smallest thing kind of ruins our morning, 9 times out of 10, it affects the rest of our day, right? 9 times out of 10, mostly people wake up Monday through Friday. Fuck, bro. I'm a robot again today. You know what I mean? I'm surviving again today. They already, wake up with a kind of like attitude. Imagine if everyone woke up with the mentality or attitude of, all right, bro, when I go into work today, or all right, when I see my kids today, when I see my, significant other, I'm going to make them laugh today. I'm going to make them smile today. I'm going to ask them what I can do for them to make their days better. You know how much more shit would get done? You know how much more efficient we would be as a society? You know, where we would be probably just technology-wise, living-wise, the earth would probably be a lot fucking better off. And it's just because of, like...
people feed off of positivity.
Yeah, and it really, especially in today's world, because positivity, I feel like, is such a... There's a fake version of it that people like to use when it benefits them. There's a fake version of it when people try to use it as a tool to manipulate people. And then you have your small sliver of real, genuine positivity where someone is genuinely worrying about your well-being or trying to help you achieve something or just trying to give you an outlet for something or just trying to help you in one way or another without asking for a return, without, seeking something out of it or, expecting something out of it. Like, it's just purely based off of, the genuine kindness or genuine, like, want to try and help somebody out. And it's so so rare, you know what I mean, in today's world. And I don't know, it's very sad to see because I think a lot of people, like, as a whole, we would just be so, like, evolved.
Yeah. I think that along the lines of positivity, this is going to be kind of an offshoot and not super on your topic, but it's in the realm of, like, your mindset about everything matters, and it can really affect how a conversation goes and how people view you.
Yeah, mindset and perspective is everything.
When I was 20, because it was pre-pandemic, it was the point where, like, in my family, I knew what was going on enough and felt confident enough in my knowledge, my abilities to talk to people and everything, and, like, my social standing, quote unquote, to have conversations with the adults in my family and feel like I was standing on my own 2 feet and sometimes made them look like idiots.
Yeah. Especially when obviously the time is, time is going on, especially you're the type of person to do your research about your shit and understand, you know what I mean? Parents, 9 times out of 10, they kind of get to a certain age where they're just kind of telling their kids shit because they can.
So this was my extended family, I should preface, on my mom's side, which we've talked about them before. One of my aunts in particular, there was a big conversation going around about like the way people view the world, the problem with today's generation and stuff like that. And
Always today's generation.
yeah, I know, especially with them. But here was the thing. I was talking. There was this guy that I recently found, and I refound him on accident recently. His name's Simon Sinek, I believe. He's like a motivational speaker or like a coach kind of.
Simon, my nuts in your mouth.
But one of his things that he says commonly is that he has a job that he wish he didn't have to have, or that he wish he didn't have, or the world didn't need. Because he does things that are like, hey, this is your problems with life. This is how you get motivated. This is how you like have drive. This is like, these are how you fix common day problems or why your kids aren't happy.
These are the habits that you...
like things like that, you know? And so I was talking and I said that part of it of like, oh, he's someone who has a job that he wish he like, you know, feels like the world shouldn't need. And then my aunt goes like, yeah, okay. And then I say some of the stuff he says. I kind of I brush it off. I let her say her shit. I brush it off. I keep talking. And then all of them laugh. And then I say who he is. And then she goes, oh, I know him. I love him. He's super cool. And then I look at her and I go, now that you know who it is, suddenly you don't think I'm full of it, huh? And like all of my family kind of turns because I never talk like that.
Yeah.
You know, and it was the moment of like, your perspective going into that conversation completely changed how I view you
based
as a
off
person.
Of the title of a human being or who they were.
Based off the fact that I said a name and you didn't just trust that maybe Jaxon has some idea what he's talking about or has some care in the way he's presenting this.
Yeah, and that's based off of like obviously the age gap. And
yeah,
like
and that's my point is like your whole perspective going into a conversation can completely change and make how a person feels loved or cared about or what they think of you. Because in that moment, I wanted nothing more than to be like, you're stupid as shit. Yeah. And you look like an idiot now. Not just to me, but to everybody else, because you just proved me right.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves as in today's society. That has to do with why there's such a big gap and such a big disrespect between our younger generations and our older people because that's the thumbnail right there. Because ministry unconditional love is right there. You just gotta put it right here on the top, and then we gotta
Be like Shia Labeouf said what? No. Anyway,
older people, honestly, 95 to 6% of them, probably all assholes, especially to the younger generations, unless they're their grandkids and they have a fucking bias opinion that think they're all little angels. Don't get me wrong, we all need that from our grandparents, but don't be little piece of shit to everybody else. Also, younger generations, you don't have to be a piece of shit to older people just because they're old and saggy. You know what I mean? Like, I get they want to holler at you, but I think
it's crazy that you think I think that it's crazy that the reason you pointed out that the younger generation hates old people is that they're old and saggy, not that they're bitter and like have screwed us over.
Yeah, that's big facts. And I ain't go like, honestly, listen, bro, the fact that we still have anywhere from 60, 70, 80-year-olds in office in any type of political fucking statement is beyond me. Our president is literally losing his mind as we speak. And he still runs a country. So it kind of blows my mind.
I just have settled on the fact that hopefully it's Kamala who's kind of like doing things.
That you would fucking hope it. And even if so, they're still fucking up. So at this point, again, I think...
Let's not dive there.
Yeah, let's not go into that. But, I mean, with the older people, like, they're already stuck in their ways. Like, there's very few older people who know what an open mind is and what they think is right is not just one way of thinking. Like, there's so many people who are older who are like, nah, this is the right way because this is how I was brought up, and these are the older ways, yada, yada.
My grandparents on my dad's side were actually... my grandparents on my dad's side were actually really like that. They were really, like...
traditional.
Set in their ways and stuff like that. And I don't know if you've met my grandma a whole lot, but she's not like that anymore, really.
Your dad's mom? Yeah, I met her. Super sweet lady.
Yeah.
Sweetheart, an angel.
Well... My cousin came out as gay, or to them, and
that did not go so well.
Well, yeah, not super well. But then my grandma, after like a day, talked with her and was like, cool. Like, they were talking, they were great, right?
Mm-hmm.
They talked it out. My grandpa did not talk to her for like a week or a week and a half. It was like super pissed. And then he was talking to my grandma about it one day, and she looks at him and goes, Eddie, look, I don't know how long I have on this world. I don't want to spend the last of it being upset about her being happy with who she is.
If your grandmother could write a book about how all people from about, I would say, 55 and above is considered senior citizen, so I think we should do 50 and above. Because that means the people who are like couple years out still are stuck in their ways, so we need to kind of cup them into there. But yeah, she should write a book on what it means to have an open mind and
Well, like, not
realize
even just that,
that,
but like, that's love.
bro, they're 90% of them are on borrowed time. They're spending their borrowed time fucking being angry at the world and fucking
And well, like, and like, it's crazy because he like was like, rah, 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 you know, and then like a couple hours later he was like, you're right, like,
damn straight she's right.
yeah, and like, it's the realization of like,
how many times has your grandfather probably told your grandmother that she was right? A lot. It's usually how that goes.
I don't know, honestly. They were pretty good about getting along, and both kind of like, my grandma genuinely thought that my grandfather was one of the smartest people in the world.
I need to find me.
The only person rivaled is me now, from my understanding.
Oh wow! So you're Albert Einstein in her books.
I think more on a people person level.
You're God.
But it's just kind of like that understanding of like, and this is something I experienced on my mom's side too, of like, are you really going to let the way somebody wants to live their life that doesn't really impact you ruin your relationship or like drain that love that you have for that person because, you know, they are dating someone who's a different race or they like a different gender or they, you know, like,
super off topic, but that's how I felt when all this hate came out about Catalyst, the new legend for Apex.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Apex Legends game came out. One of the new heroes got announced. Sorry, new legends. Overwatch Mind. One of the new legends got announced, and she is trans.
Yeah, the first trans, I guess, quote unquote, first trans. I mean, obviously they have a bunch of LGBTQ character or legends, but she's
first trans legend.
Yeah,
and one of the first trans people in most video game market.
Like, yeah, and it was like off rip, like in the trailer, like she like had talked about one of her feats being transitioning. So like they openly mentioned like, boom, trans legend, like transitioning, like they mentioned it in general. So when it came out, everyone was like, oh, like that's what does it have to do? Yeah, like what is it? What, it's like they were like, what does it have to do with like the game, yada yada, this and that? Like this is stupid.
The point is that it shouldn't be something that's so out there. It should be something that can just be common and commonplace and be a character trait, just like somebody saying, "I'm white and straight. I'm white and like puss." You know,
wow,
like,
I need you to never say some shit like that ever again.
But like that's my point is it's something that means so much to somebody and them experiencing happiness, them feeling like they're cared for or represented or taken care of is something that should be important to you because that's what matters.
Exactly. 110, like the amount of good feedback that was gotten after, you know, obviously being being represented in the game, like it was really cool to see. And it's just like, just in general, like in the world, like obviously you see people freaking out about a fucking video game. When it comes to real life situation, it's like, bro, like this person doesn't affect you. And at the end of the day, if you don't accept their shit, you don't have to talk to them. Tell them straight up, honestly, I don't respect what you do. I don't respect your decisions. So I'm just not going to talk to you anymore. What's the worst that happens? That person hey, you know what? Thank you for telling me straight up rather than treating me like a piece of shit.
You know what? I actually have a real life anecdote to this. One of my friends came out as trans. I was the first person to know, was the only person to know. We actually are trying to get them on the podcast. I kind of have to talk to them about it and figure out how they're on. But I think it would be a really good episode. Anyway, but when she came out, she ended up slowly telling her friend group. And one of our friends, whenever she told them, was like, you know, I don't believe in it and you know how my beliefs are on it. But if that's what makes you happy and that's what puts you in a good place, then that's what matters. And it's like,
it's so easy.
And it was the person we were technically concerned with.
It was like this is going to be the one where
it was one or two people who were kind of like, but like it was that moment of like,
oh shit,
maybe we did make a good choice with some of the people. And like obviously a lot of our friend group is kind of fallen out and there's some shit with that. But
I mean that's how it is with friend groups. They start to
but in general there's like, that is one of the most meaningful things somebody can probably say.
Yeah, that's one of them genuine type of like, that's a human being thing. Like,
yeah,
that's one of those good human being things where you see that it doesn't matter who you are, bro. It makes your heart feel good. It makes you feel good, and you realize that
because even if that person is saying like, yeah, I think you're wrong, they're still saying like,
you're wrong, but I respect you.
But I care that you're happy.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me feel good.
And that if in the world we were able to...
honestly, that's a dub.
It really is, bro. If in the world we were able to... Because I'm not asking everyone to fucking think the same, like the same shit, fucking do the same shit.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be on the giver.
We do not need the fucking... Everyone be fucking pitch perfect fucking... all right? No one...
I love that movie.
No one's got to be all the same. You know what I mean? But if Jaxon likes red and I like blue, I'm going to be like, you know what? Red's a cool second. In my opinion, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be mad at you for like your red, but I respect it.
I think it's crazy that you know both of our favorite colors and you still went that route.
I don't know what I have for breakfast, dog. You think I remember what your favorite color is? Respectfully, what's your favorite color?
Red.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm an idiot, and your chain, and I'm an idiot, dude. Don't smoke weed, guys. Anywho.
What is unconditional love?
Ooh, this was a good one.
What is it, and is it real? Is it real?
Well, okay, so
you really love me?
All right. Well, the last thing I would say on ministry of presence, and what it is to genuinely be there for somebody. Yes, I love you, you fucking bitch.
Really love me? Love you too, man.
The ministry of presence and genuinely being there for somebody. Being a genuine listener and like somebody who can be an outlet for somebody is like, there's times where me and Jaxon like I know we've talked about it being there for people on one of our earlier episodes, but sometimes people just need to let shit out and not have a response. Sometimes people just need someone to show up and be like, hey, you fucking got this, and just show whatever minute support you can. Because again, another viral video with Shia Labeouf is him going through his AA meetings. And, you know, they have I think it was every Friday they have family, or every Sunday is family day. So on Zoom calls, your family will show up and support you, tell you, hey, you got this, you're doing great, yada, yada. First 3 weeks, he didn't have anyone show up. Not his mom, not his sister, not his dad, not his agent, manager, nobody. And then after the 3rd week, he was about to tell his therapist, like, I just don't want to go. I don't want to remind myself that I'm fucked up and I don't have nobody here. And they were like, no, I really think you should go. And that week, his current wife right now, Mia Goth, I believe it is. She shows up on the Zoom. Hi, Shia. You're doing great. You got this. Love you. And they had previously like dated each other, I guess. Like, there's a whole story about it. But he was like, at that moment, like, you know, I was taken back. I have nothing to give this woman. I have nothing to offer her. I have no good to give this woman. I have no good to give this human being. She has no reason to be in my corner supporting me the way she is. She's not asking for anything. She's not, you know, there to try and take my money. She's not there and trying to take any fame. Like, I don't have anything. This is Shia Labeouf, like, broken down, stripped down, basically booty bone naked. Just doesn't have shit. And this woman is like, no, I got you. Like, you got this. You can do this. You know what I mean? And, you know, that's when he starts choking up and he starts, you know, crying and stuff like that. And he was like, I felt like such a little boy because I was just scared of the world. I had nothing to give anybody. And here I am, this angel who is, you know, before I found God, before, you know, had any real friends, before any of the homies, you know, because now he's in this group of like 60 dudes who are all sober and like they keep in on each other. They like hang out with each other weekly and stuff like that. But he's like, before all that, it was her. Like, she's the reason, she saved my life. You know what I mean? And that took off. That went viral. Because being there for somebody, whether it be platonically or monogamous. Yeah, big boy words. Yeah. Being there for somebody in the smallest ways goes so long for some of the people who are in their deepest, darkest moments. You know?
Even just for like anybody, the act of having somebody in your corner means the entire world. I like it. This is like nowhere near the same, but like you see it with like people who are streaming and they have like either their homie who's like got them tabbed up or their significant other who's like, I'm his biggest supporter.
Yeah.
Or like their mom or their dad just like sitting there watching is like that little ounce is like the world. You know, it's every little bit means everything. And I think that that's something that we both of us kind of experienced also when we started doing the podcast is like we had people in our corner. And I think that goes deeper. Obviously, we've both had a lot of stuff happen in our lives that we can point to, but I think keeping it more light on our end.
And I think the biggest thing for me was that obviously Shia Labeouf was the type of person where on paper, he said it on paper, I didn't deserve to be loved again. I didn't deserve to be treated like a human being again. I didn't deserve to be in society again. And he was like, obviously there's people who have done, you know, technically more fucked up shit than me. But in my life, the shit that I've done is the worst that is ever going to happen or that I'm going to do. That's the worst damage that I'm going to do. And I have to make up for that. And I think for me, it was a big thing was just that, like, it kind of, at that moment, that's when I kind of got off my high horse because I felt like kind of like in the opposite turn where he was doing a bunch of damage. I felt like a bunch of damage was done to me. So I felt like at that point, I'm just going to cut off the whole fucking world so that way I can't
try and do damage before damage is done to me.
And not only that, but I'm going to cut everything off so that way, even if they try to do damage, it doesn't mean shit. I'm going to and for the longest time, I've turned off my feelings. I've turned off my emotions. And I've basically tried to go everything at it with a cold heart. Because for me, it's a lot easier going at everything with a cold heart than trying to get hurt. But getting hurt and dealing with that shit and dealing with your emotions and learning from different shit and, you know, making those mistakes is what creates and grows you as a person. You know what I mean? So I think it kind of just opened my eyes up to, like, no matter how bad someone has done you dirty, no matter how much damage someone has done in your life, no, it's not an exception or there's not, like, obviously there is a line to be drawn, you know, depending on, you know, abuse and, you know, but I think the case is, especially for men, Shia Labeouf has proven it, you can change. And if the world is willing to accept you or you just willing to find those people who are willing to accept you, that's all you need is just those couple people who are willing to accept you because then at that point, your goal at that point is just to serve them.
Yeah. And one of the things that, like, a lot of people who fall in the dark holes or, like, who are in a support system get told is, like, you are not your worst mistakes as long as you don't feed them, which basically means, like, your worst fuck ups don't necessarily equate to the person that you are. And I always say that it's like no one's a bad person until they prove that their mistakes are choices, which is the, like, I'm going to keep doing this thing.
Yeah, like they're like on purpose.
I haven't learned.
With intent of, like, this is what I want to do because I just want to do it.
Yeah, and, like, they're just like, eh.
Yeah, like, fuck the repercussions, fuck whoever it hurts, fuck whatever happens, you know what I mean?
And the only flawed system in that is, like, you don't know if that turnaround ever comes, really, but, like...
And, you know, you like, even with, in the end of that episode, he was talked about, like, he was like, I was always kind of looking to get my ego back. He was like, it turned to a performance at some point. And that's how it is with most people. When they start to realize that they're fucking up and they're starting to get, you know, the footing from under them taken out, they'll start putting on a performance to try and get that back. They'll try and get whatever power they can get back.
Even if it's sometimes negative.
Even if it's negative, even if it means hurting somebody else, even if it means pulling the rug from somebody else's feet, and people don't realize what they're doing before they do it.
So do you feel like unconditional love is real?
I did, and then I watched this video about this guy Matthew Hennessy, and how he explained unconditional. And it was obviously just one video or two videos of him explaining it, but perspective wise, just kind of how I ate it. It kind of made sense to me. So, unconditional love is like, no matter what you do, no matter what happens, I'm gonna love you, no matter what happens, right? That's technically what unconditional love is.
Yeah, it is love that isn't swayed by any condition.
Nothing, right? And he was like, for me, he was like, that's kind of scary, dog. He was like, you have to realize, like, you're now telling somebody, no matter how you treat me, no matter what you do to me, no matter what you go out and do into this world, no matter what happens, I'm gonna be in your corner. People tell each other that all the time. No matter what happens, I'm gonna be here for you. That's the dumbest shit you could tell somebody, hands down. And I realize that now, because that means you don't have any boundaries drawn. You don't have any respect for yourself, because now, the way he put it, he goes, so if this person goes out and cheats on you every day, if you're in a relationship, this person goes out, cheats on you every day, comes back to you, lets you know that they cheated on you, tells you, hey, you're a piece of shit, yada yada, this and that. But you love them, you know what I mean? Because at some point, at whatever point you fell in love with them, and you felt like, oh, this is my uncle, like this is my person right here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're no longer giving them any boundaries, any walls, or anything like that. So for me, the whole point of unconditional love is fake. It's something that we kind of throw up, because for me, the way I want a relationship is, I'm going to hold you accountable to everything that you do. I'm going to hold you accountable to being the good person that we both, obviously, because obviously if you go in a relationship, it's because you want to spend time with this person. You guys kind of see the world in the same way. You know what I mean? At some point, you guys kind of mesh with your guys' mindset. You guys kind of think alike, agree to a certain extent on some things, whatever it may be.
I think that's a very poignant thing, especially now, because like the some extent is extremely important there. Because I think that a lot of people in modern days, which is something we didn't talk about last episode, but like we probably should have, but like a lot of people when it comes to dating nowadays think that they have to be like the same. They have to have the same political views. They have to have the same religion reviews. They have to have the same sex drive. They have to have the same, like everything needs to be like, if your astral sign isn't compatible, then we're not dating. Yeah. Like there are people who like, if your love isn't the same as my love, then we can't work.
Yeah, and it's like, for me, it's
when
like,
in reality, it's like,
if you have the same person as you, within the first 6 months, you're going to be so sick and tired of that person, because you do feel like you're not your own person, or you feel like you can't do your own shit. And it always turns out toxic, or it ends up being something that you didn't want it to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think the whole point behind unconditional love and understanding what it is like, you can't throw the title unconditional love on it. When it comes to being in someone's corner, no matter what it is, that's holding them accountable. You being in someone's corner is holding them accountable to the shit that they want to do. It's to asking your significant other or your friends like what their dreams are, what their goals are, and then holding them to that. And
yeah, I think we literally said it in a couple of our episodes and in our trailer, which is like being a good friend, being a good like significant other, being a person that you're trying to show that you love, is holding them accountable to the things that they do and telling them when they're fucking up. Because if you're not, then you're not only doing yourself a disservice, but you're letting that person be anything, including the shit that they're going to hate. And I think that, I think I've definitely fallen victim to this. There's,
and everyone does it, you know what I mean? Because like we all kind of, and especially in relationships, we like to paint this picture of somebody in our head, and we like to hold on to it. Because 9 times out of 10, when the good times are good, they're fantastic, but when the bad times are bad, they're fucking awful. And we always try and hold on to, when is that next good time coming? When is, when am I gonna get that feeling again? You know?
Yeah.
You're good, dog. Take your time. I definitely saw I hit a nerve there. I was like, fuck.
When you it's just like, it's one of those things that you don't really realize how much you give into it, of like, everything you said about, like, whenever you were saying, like, you don't set that limit and this is what your significant other does. They, like, cheat on you. They, you know, they do all this awful stuff. They tell you, like, the stuff they're doing, and then you still, like, stay in their corner. It was me. Like, that. I was the person that was, like...
You basically kill yourself.
It's worse than that. Like, it's not, because you're
going into it on a daily with... I'm going to be in this person. I'm going to support this person no matter what, because I think that they deserve it, or I love them this much. And, you know, this is, you know, for whatever reason you give yourself to hold on to being there is, I don't want to say it's not a bad thing, because you're being the good person and trying to see the better, or trying to be there for that person because you want to be there for them. And it's very hard to cut that tie, make that decision, and realize, like, it's no longer love at that point. You know what I mean? Love you, dog. Hope you know that. Genuinely.
Love you too. I think that the best way I could describe that feeling, that, like, the feeling of being in that situation is this. It's, you're a kid. You're 5 years old. And you're learning about space for the first time. Let's bump it up. You're 8. You're learning about space for the first time. And it sounds like the most amazing thing ever. You're learning about the cosmos and what could possibly be out there in the wider expanse of the universe. There's more than just us. There is a whole vast entity that you can't even fully fathom. And all you want to do is go to space. It's all you ever want to experience. You do anything to go. And so you find a way to get to space. And you get up there, and you're in, you break the skyline, and you start floating. And then you realize you need oxygen. But you're achieving everything you've ever wanted. And so you're looking at the vastness, this thing that you've dreamt about and wanted forever. And it's all there in front of you. And now suddenly you have to pick between either oxygen and staying alive, or being exactly where you thought you wanted to be forever.
And that's I think, with life in general, a lot of people try, and
I think a lot of people don't make that choice quick enough of, I need to keep breathing.
And they end up fucking themselves over until it's too late.
And they stay in space.
And at some point that oxygen gonna give out.
That's what that feeling is like.
That you would rather suffocate yourself than...
Because I have everything that I've ever dreamed of. It's all right here. The comfort, the entirety of the cosmos and the universe is in front of me, and I'm dying, but it's okay.
Because it's worth it, or because
it's everything I thought it would be.
And yeah, that shit is...
But in reality, it's nothing.
Way to paint just a beautiful picture. I mean, kind of fucked up, but beautiful picture.
I mean...
in a good way.
It's like, you know, you get up there and you've only broken the surface of the earth. You just have hit 0G.
Yeah.
Everything you're seeing, you could have seen from the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
It's everything you've ever wanted. And it's beautiful, but it's also nothing. And it's not actually what you wanted. It's just the closest you'll ever get. And that's what you feel at the time.
And then people just hold on to that feeling until they can get... It's like a drug addict, you know what I mean? Who's fiending, you know? And it's like, you know, they chase that high. They chase that high. They chase that feeling of, when is this significant other going to give me that feeling that I had that last time? You know what I mean?
All I can think of when you said when they're feeding is whenever it's like those videos of the guy, and it's like, when white boy loses his vape, he's like, "Cuz, let me hit it, cuz. Come on. Dog, I need it, cuz. I just lost it, dog."
It's like the fishbowl, and he's like in his face, bro.
Yeah, he's like, "Come on, dog. Come on, cuz." He's like, "Nah. Teach, come on."
Stupid ass.
This is how I get out of it.
But yeah, I mean,
How do you show love to both in both a friendship way and a romantic way? How do you show love? Like what is that?
acts of service. And
Thank you for your service.
both in friendships and relationships. Okay, I shouldn't say in friendships. I mean, yeah, I guess you can kind of put like, okay, so kind of like how last episode I told you that in relationships 9 times out of 10 it's a lot easier to get with a female because the guy gets comfortable. The best way I would say for a guy, don't get fucking comfortable. Every day you wake up, and it should go both ways. Every day both of these people wake up, you should be trying to still impress your significant other.
That's not where I thought you were going with this.
No, you should.
I was like, where is he going?
No. So like
every day you wake up, you should try to look for another lady.
Yeah, bro. Hey, just build your roster up. Honestly,
He said, "I'm trying to find another bitch. Ain't nobody holding me down. I won't get comfortable. Stay toxic."
I want to be able to start a whole offense and a whole defense on a football field and have them play against each other. To be honest with you, that shit would be lit.
You just never mind. Let's keep going.
Yeah, let's not do that. No, but basically, day in and day out, you should want to impress and almost treat it like it's, the first, like you're still in that first couple like weeks or first couple months of your relationship, in my opinion. No, it doesn't have to be so extreme or so fucking like cheesy and shit like that, but it's like as soon as like, so like the little things of, if you go to the store and you get a coffee and obviously your homegirl or homeboy's order, get them their shit, you know what I mean? And then without even asking, yada, like it goes down to such small things, and those small things lead to bigger things. Those small things always end up building
a franchise of actions.
I hate you so much.
Because I'm a businessman.
Those smaller actions end up always building the framework for, the bigger shit that ends up coming in, or
just a healthy relationship.
Yeah, and and even friendship wise, like, bro, like sometimes just pull up on, like for me, I like to just call my homie and be like, obviously, I don't do this to you because you don't smoke, but like sometimes, I'll call Thompson and be like, hey, bro, like I'm gonna pull up on you with a blunt, you know what I mean? And we can just catch up. He's like, all right, bro, bet. Like, say less. Like, that shit means a lot. And then every time he's always like, damn, bro, I'm hella faded and I appreciate you a lot, like, for this talk, yada, yada, whatever we talk about, you know what I mean? And it's like, in a relationship, fucking just, bro, I know we've talked about this before. Women. I know we don't have a lot of women listeners.
That's just our Spotify analytics.
Oh, that's just Spotify.
Our Apple analytics is the other way.
Oh, all right.
A lot of females listen on.
Ladies.
A lot of ladies listen on.
Hey, shorty, listen,
I don't
bro.
know what our YouTube split is.
I'm a challenge all the women. Honestly, I want to challenge everybody who listens to this, bro. I'm a challenge everybody who listens to this, bro. Go buy the opposite sex some flowers.
It's really good that you continue that sentence, but that was a dangerous pause.
Yeah, go buy the opposite sex a bouquet of flowers.
Why did you do the same pause? Oh my god. Pause at the exact same fucking spot.
Don't worry about it. And like just pick one person that you've never bought flowers for, and if it's your significant other and you haven't bought them flowers in a while, buy them flowers, bro. And I promise you,
I challenge you not to do that.
Wow.
I challenge you not to get your significant other flowers. I know it's a nice thing, but
are you gonna vamp it up? Are you gonna one up me?
I'm saying find somebody who you think needs it.
Facts. But honestly, I I just want to see a bunch of dudes get flowers. I think that shit would be so fucking cool. Like, bro, go find a dude to give him a bouquet of flowers and watch him not know what to do with it. That shit would be so funny.
That's what I'm saying, though, is find somebody who you think needs it.
Oh, bro.
And because that can still be your significant other. If you, like...
Should I get Camo a bouquet of flowers?
Shit, maybe.
Maybe that'll brighten him up.
I don't know.
Bouquet of flowers, Camo mushrooms. Have a good time, bud. Oh, man. No, I think it would be really cool to fucking just give somebody like, and I say flowers because it's like the smallest minute thing, and it really does go such a long way. And
it's also very neutral.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not very like flirty. It's not very like.
People think that flowers are innately flirty when I don't think that they are.
They're really not.
They're really like more of like a, hey, you're somebody I care about.
Technically, the only reason why you would make it in a romantic way, flirty way,
suggestive,
is like with roses or red roses. I guess it's technically
I don't
the
think
only.
I've ever bought no motherfucker red roses.
Yeah, and I don't think I did it. It was always like dandelions and sunflowers and shit, and then
just
like,
I usually get flowers out of the color that they like.
What are those? Succulents.
Jesus,
My favorite word.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, man, just go and do an act of service for somebody who you think needs it that honestly wouldn't expect it. Because I think you not only is it gonna make them feel good, but watch the instant gratification and watch that shit make you feel 15 times better. And if that shit doesn't make you want to go do it again and again and again and tell somebody else, this shit that I just made you feel, do me a favor, turn around and go do it for somebody else. Don't just hold on to this and be like, wow, that person really made me feel good. No, go do that for somebody else. Stop being a little bitch. Don't be selfish.
You know what the best thing that I've ever seen that incarnate of? When we worked at Dutch.
Yeah, paying for any other people's drinks.
One per car buys somebody, and then it just goes through the whole line until some rude bitch is like, ooh.
Can I get 6, 7 drinks? And then can all of them be large with like 6 extra shots?
That's why I never say it until it's the end of the transaction.
Yeah, we started learning.
But like it more until it's that one bitch who's like, ooh, and then just doesn't buy it the next person.
Yeah, and then you're like, all right, bro, way to be a fucking party pooper. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
That's one of those, oh, I deserve it today. Thank you. No, bitch. People are being nice. Continue it.
It's not.
Don't do that.
If you were already willing to spend the money, like, make somebody else's day.
Yeah, bro, because that little ooh that you got, 90 other people could feel it.
Yeah, it's, that's kind of like one of the big things is like, even if it's a random person, that like small thing can mean the world to them. One of my favorite things is there's these guys who shout at people and they like holler, and instead of like being like, damn shawty, you got a fatty, they're like, damn girl, you look like you never break a phone. And like they just like say super like out of pocket like
random ass shit.
Yeah, but they're like, we staying respectful. And they're like, dang, you look like you vacuum every Sunday. Like, it's not a mean thing, it's just more of just like a
all right.
Yeah.
You look like a respectable person.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
and it's just like a random thing of like trying to show love. But anyway, I real quick do want to touch on self-love. I think that it's something we've talked about a lot on the podcast. And one of the things that you always say is you got to be your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah, absolutely. No one else is going to care about you at the end of the day.
No one is going to support you as best as you can.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're in your head on a daily. You know exactly what you want to do. You know exactly what you need to do to get it done. 99% of shit already has a blueprint, and someone else has probably already done it. There's always a blueprint for something. There's always a path that's already been, kind of like laid for you. And I think a lot of it has to do with just kind of being okay with who you are as a human being okay with that voice in your head, being friends. I'll tell you what, bro, I talk to myself more than I talk to anybody. Like me and the voice in my head are like fucking, we're homies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's how it should be. You spend the most time with you.
I gas myself up and I shit on myself more than any. That's why when anybody else comes at me, I'm like, bro, you can't shit on me worse than I do in my head, bro.
Yeah, and like that's what I think people fail to realize is, or even understand, is the fact that like whenever somebody says something mean to you, the only reason why it hurts is because you're echoing it.
Yeah.
And you're making it feel true.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something that I didn't realize till very recently, of like, the only reason why that hurt my feelings is not just because that's what you think of me, but it's because you are making me think that of me.
Yeah.
But that's me allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
So it all falls on me, and ultimately anyway.
It's you believing them.
Yeah, and you have to understand when you can hype yourself up. Obviously, sometimes people say some shit. They do be true. No cappers. And they're trying to check you. And that's okay.
You just have to make the decision on whether or not you want to be in denial or listen to them.
Yeah, and I think that that's kind of hard to find which zone you need to be in. But there's definitely a moment of like, this person's not just saying this to be an asshole.
Yeah, bro, if you're that friend, if you're that Jackson in people's life where you can call somebody out on their bullshit and be like, hey, I'm not telling you this to be an asshole. I'm telling you this because I care about you and I'm trying to help you be a better human being. Keep doing that shit, bro. You're very rare and needed in the world.
Yeah.
Good shit, though.
Love yourself, though.
Yeah, facts.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, bro. And that's why I said, like, this whole, like, when it comes to loving and being there for people, like, I'm not telling you to drop all your walls. I'm not telling you, like, don't give unconditional love. Unconditional love is going to get you fucked up. It's going to get you hurt. But find those people who, I shouldn't even say find those people. Go to every human being, every interaction that you have with the intent to help them, to serve them, to care about them, and to love them. And if you don't get it in return, shit, at least you tried, bro. You know what I mean? And at least they can't say, oh, that person was a bitch, that's why I was, or that person was hella rude. That person
they still might say it, but.
Yeah, but, like, as long as you know, and that goes with the self-love, as long as you know where your intentions lie, as long as you know where your head lies, as long as you know where your perspective lies, and you know how you're moving, and you know you keep yourself accountable and have good people to keep you accountable, everything else that comes through will phase through you. As soon as it fucking tries to get into your head, that shit is released like that. You know what I mean? And I think it just a lot of people have to realize, like, I don't know, you start to kind of filter out all that negative shit when you're continuously just putting out good shit.
Yeah.
But you also have to fuel yourself with other good people around. You cannot do that shit by yourself because you will just drain your own battery. You will burn yourself out, and then you'll go back to... This is kind of me talking to myself, but you'll go... I mean, for me, I'd probably go back to just hating the world again, you know?
Man, I just got lost in my own thought of, like, something that that doesn't really pertain to this episode, but, like, man, I was like, man, I want to talk about that. Anyway, maybe a later time. It's like, it's a perspective thing. It's a perspective thing and, like, are people bad thing. Anyway.
I think so. I think people are naturally bad.
No, it's more of like, okay, fuck it. We're running it really quick. Real fast. Say somebody steals, I don't know, like $250,000.
Okay.
Somebody.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, $250,000 or $500,000 from a very wealthy person who doesn't do anything good. Like they like donate to charity, but they don't actually. They like don't really sponsor anything. They don't go out of their way to do anything helpful with their money. They very much like protect themselves and feed, and that's it. And then this person steals from them, and it is like a huge fucking deal. And then, so everybody says that that person's a bad person, the person who stole. So person one is what we're going to call him, is the thief. Mm-hmm. Person two is the stolen from. Yeah, the millionaire. And then person one comes out and says, I grew up on the streets. I had nothing. And what I'm doing with this is I'm providing back to all the people that I know who are also still have nothing. So it's all going to either charity or it's going to like feeding homeless people. Yeah, to the people who need it. He's not keeping a dime of it.
Robin Hood shit.
One is not keeping a dime of it. Yeah. Every single last penny goes straight to it. Yeah. Does that make one still a bad person? And this is why I'm in conflict, because I, especially over the past like 3 months, have been saying this one thing, which is doing a bad thing in response to someone doing a bad thing to you doesn't make you a good person. It makes...
Well, I would ask you...
Or doesn't make you justified.
Well, yeah, obviously fighting fire with fire is never a good thing, but you gotta see the intention between
and that's the problem.
It's the intent.
I definitely think that my phrase, like my bad thing to bad thing, doesn't equal
it's wording.
It's not even just wording. I think that it's dependent on the situation.
Yeah, it's all situational and based off the intent. Because if you have someone who's doing something bad purely based off of evil intent, then that bad is obviously needs to be corrected. But if there needs to be another bad with the good intent of I'm doing this bad thing so that way this doesn't happen again, or if that person is willing to sacrifice, whether it be a friendship or whether it be, hey, I'm gonna blow this up so that way it doesn't trickle down and affect any other people. To me, technically, I don't see anything wrong with that.
I guess I'm basically asking, are the magicians in Now You See Me good guys or bad guys?
They're definitely heroes.
And that's the thing, is like,
That's
you
what,
immediately go like they're heroes, but at the same time, that person just fucked over that other person's life.
and I know you say fucked over, but you also have to realize, like, again, with the intent of, like, it goes back to the same thing. Those people who, okay, so the millionaire who's made all these choices of being bad, he's made it with the choice, though.
So the millionaire,
he knows that he's doing bad stuff.
The millionaire is actually on a really bad streak right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's all in the red.
Mm-hmm.
He is like getting to the point where he might have to end up selling some of his assets,
Mm-hmm.
Or like liquidate entirely. And it's going bad, and they're currently struggling from a addiction issue.
Mm-hmm.
Does that change anything? That now this person's life is now formulated off the fact that they have an addiction issue, and now that all this money is gone from them, they have to sell. They have to do things that are going to put them in a difficult situation.
And I think that's a consequence and I think that's a karma that is put into scenarios, and like, all right, you got to think about everything leading up to those moments. You know what I mean? So everything leading up to them.
Does the amount of money that the person has, that person too has, change? Because if I told you the same situation, but it's a middle class person, is the situation different now?
Are they still making bad decisions with evil intent?
They're making the same decisions that the millionaire would be making, but it's not that they're actively being like, it's not like they like
just shitting on people.
Yeah, no, it is like I'm not going out of my way to donate. I'm not going out of my way to do charitable acts.
And it still has their shit stolen?
Yeah, half their assets, basically, or half their financials are stolen. And now this person is in financial ruin, still suffering from the addiction, still all the same things that we just said. Is it now okay? Or is it now bad, or is it still okay because they're not rich?
I don't know, that's tough because I feel like you can't really use addiction as an excuse. Because to me, the way I see addiction is like, yes, it's an illness, but also at the same sense, there's a line to be drawn when it comes to an excuse and addiction. If you want to help yourself, you're going to help yourself.
Yeah, but like my point is the fact that you have paused and pivoted now that the addiction is the problem.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's not an excuse as to why.
No, but
it
that's
makes
my thing is like the pause is enough for me to go,
well, yeah,
the amount of gap that there is. All of us just hate rich people is basically what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Eat the rich.
And like that little aspect means so much of the fact that like you completely changed and thought about your response a lot more whenever I said this person is now not a millionaire.
Well, yeah, because obviously.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's just, it definitely does kind of.
This is
fucks with you.
Yeah, this is a super off topic like pivot,
and
that's what like went through my mind. I was like, oh fuck, everything's messed up now.
Full spiral.
Yeah, everything's fucked up. Anyway, let's come up. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Brendan,
you want to go first?
No, I don't. I actually really don't. Go ahead.
My Giants are 6-1.
Eagles are still 6-0.
Let's fucking go. Giants are 6-1. We actually almost threw the game, but we shouldn't have. The game shouldn't have been as close as it was. But we stopped so it's 23-17, right? Fourth quarter, last couple seconds. When I tell you, we stopped them at the 1 yard line with 0 seconds on the clock. Like, caught the ball over the middle of the field. Jaguars about to score. 3 Giants players comes and like tackles him and starts pushing him like the other way. Boom, they fall to the floor. 0 strikes. Giants win the game. Everyone flips the fuck out. It was beautiful. Saquon was snapping. Okay, Danny Dimes showed some fucking guts. Okay, Kayvon Thibodeau was getting held all game long. So like if you're a defensive end, right, and you're trying to like obviously get past the tackle, and he's like on your shit, pulling your jersey, full arm around you, it's holding.
Yeah, I played football.
Well, yeah, but 9 times out of 10 when I'm like, I don't know whether or not the shit you need me to explain or don't need to explain, so anytime I see your confused look, I kind of just choose.
No, I know all the rules and the penalties for football.
All right, bro, my bad. Fucking all-star pro over here. But yeah, it was just a fantastic game to watch. And it was really cool to see, the Giants. I think that's now the 5th game that we have won coming back in the fourth quarter. So we really just turn it on in the fourth, especially when we're down, and we've just been finding ways to win. Makes me happy. So, go Giants. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck the Eagles. Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck the Commanders. Fuck the NFC East. It's all about the Giants, baby. Fuck. Yeah. I'm done.
Okay. I want to talk about the Modern Warfare campaign. Yeah, so new Modern Warfare campaign came out, and there's a clip of me literally talking about why they released it a week early. And man, dude, let me tell you this campaign, banger. It was awesome.
What do you rank it? Out of all of them.
I think that it is, certain moment. Okay, gameplay wise, it's above the last one.
Oh yeah, for sure. 110%.
I think story wise, it's like right underneath it.
The last Modern Warfare?
Yeah. And I think that's because I really thought that some of the stuff that they did was really cool. I don't know, dude.
I honestly take story and gameplay over last Modern Warfare. This campaign was one of my favorites.
I think it's because the last Modern Warfare came at a really pivotal point of like Call of Duty resurgence on story, and everything was like, we're back, baby. Woo, NAC 2, baby.
Yeah.
Like that type of vibe. But I think it's like, you know what, you're right. I think it's like this one, last Modern Warfare 2019, Black Ops. Everything else doesn't fucking matter.
So you rank it as the best campaign so far?
Yeah.
I did too. That's why I was like, so I had a homie hit me. He was like, I didn't think the gameplay was as exciting as some other campaigns. And I
think that it was slower.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked.
Yeah.
Is that it felt more like an actual campaign of like Spec Ops, like we are not on the books.
Yeah, because usually with most campaigns, even in Unreal, like or unrealistic or realistic, whatever the difficulty is that the hardest difficulty.
Oh, realism.
Even those, like with some of the other campaigns, you would kind of be able to run it with ease. On regular with this campaign, sometimes you were getting tapped by AI bots, like coming around corners, or the jump scares in this campaign were low-key kind of. I remember I tuned in on the stream where you had to pop the door open, the thing when Ghost is trying to help Soap out.
Oh, dude, and the trap. Yeah, dude, I was like,
I was watching that because I was the same fight, and a big thing that I don't know if you saw the clip of XQC. He was playing it, and when he had to do the coding for the missile, he's like, row 2, column 1, give me the last letter. XQC's like, what the fuck is a row?
He said, dude, I don't understand. I don't understand what's the column, dude.
He goes, what the fuck is a row? He goes, oh, maybe it's B.
Dude,
he picks it. He picks like 3 other answers, and then all you hear is Soap in the back. Oh, fuck, it's gonna hit New Orleans. He goes, oh, sorry, New Orleans.
Dude, XQC fucking kills me.
And it's like, it was just funny to see, like, obviously, like a big brain streamer, like, had this.
Oh, XQC's not big brain. He's in Overwatch though, but like,
my favorite clip of XQC is the CS:GO one where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna flash inside." Then his teammate goes, "I'm flashed." He goes, "I'm throwing my volley." He goes, "Oh my god, they're volleying me!" It's like they know exactly where I'm at. And he's just sitting there, and he's like, he shoots him in the head, takes his gun. He's like, they literally know where I'm at. Easily one of my favorite clips.
X so much.
Easily one of my favorite
so funny.
clips. But yeah, I just think that campaign in general, it was like it was mind fucking. My favorite was the ghillie suit, and then in the water.
The ghillie suit was sick. I
love the water one.
I wish that they full sended the like, let's do a full team Ghost thing, because in the multiplayer we saw that they have like the Ghost skins for everybody, where they're like full cam, like full masks and everything. Yeah. I wish that they did that instead of doing like the OG mask.
Yeah, just the OG mask. Yeah, because Soap had his own like.
Soap looks sick as fuck.
Yeah, and it shows like the bottom of his beard.
Yeah, but then not the campaign, and that kind of bummed me out. That kind of made me go, yeah.
Yeah, sorry for all the spoilers if you haven't played the campaign yet. Also, Ghost getting unmasked. that shit was hard.
They didn't show it.
They didn't show his face.
Yeah.
But it just the fact of like
one of my favorite bits of dialogue in the campaign was whenever it's the soap mission where he's like making his way through the city right after.
And the dialogue that you get to do with them.
And him and Grave Ghost talking is so fucking good, especially because Ghost is such a badass and you learn a lot about him in that moment. But Soap goes, why don't you ever take off the mask? Come on, Ghost. Yeah. And then Ghost goes, no, like I won't.
Oh,
and then Soap goes like, why are you ugly? And then Soap goes, quite the opposite.
Yeah.
And then you just go, fuck, dude, what a G.
Yeah, that shit was fire. And I didn't realize, did you end up coming across the crossbow?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I knew about it though.
Yeah, so same here. And I also saw a clip of this girl going through, and I guess there's another part of the conversation that you get to choose, where if you go to a certain part of the shop, he's like, Ghost is like, Soap, you like tequila? And
I got that.
Oh, I didn't get that part. And so you get to choose whether it be like, not my style, or like, I need one right about now. And then he was like, I'm a kind of a whiskey kind of guy, a bourbon.
Bourbon. And he goes, oh fuck.
Yeah, and he's like straight out of Kentucky. So this girl who was streaming, she loves bourbon. She's from Kentucky. So like as she's playing, she's like, she's like, Ghost is my favorite fucking dude. She was like, he got so much cooler off that.
Also, Price is a goat.
Price is goated, bro. That honestly, it was just
stays on.
It was just from the prison, from helping the people out. Like it was just,
everything's super fucking cool in that campaign.
The graphics were phenomenal.
Yeah. But the last thing that I want to say is there's a clip that I'm posting soon, and it's of the end credit scene. So if you haven't seen it yet, skip it. But it's not gonna be that much of a surprise. But literally, like you hear the black screen's out. I don't know if you watched it.
I low-key skipped.
So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, right? So it blacks out, and then it goes, the noise comes on, and it's still black screen, and you just hear, please buckle your seat. Flight attendant will be by with, whatever, right? And I immediately, like, in the clip, you see me go, like, you can see the instant recognition on my face of, like, I know what's happening.
Yeah.
And then a couple seconds go by in the clip, and I go, no Russian. Clip rolls through, right? And so the end credit scene is like the guy's going like, do you guys want the steak or the chicken? And then they go, the salad. And I go, that's not even an option. Hands over the 2 plates. And then these guys, it's basically like he starts unbuckling a thing and then like pulls out parts of like a pistol, basically. Like it's the, like he pulls out the spring and then the trigger. And then like part of the hammer is like his necklace. And like it's like super convoluted. And he pulls out like a flashlight, untwists it. And it's the barrel of the pistol. Like, all this shit, and then he pulls out these plastic pieces that are 3D printed Glocks, and then he puts all the like mechanisms that he hid throughout, using them as like jewelry or like hidden in other parts. He puts them all together and then makes like the 3D pistol, right? And then he gets a text on his phone from Makarov.
Yeah, because
just says M. Yeah. And then it says ready, and then he says ready, and then the text back says no Russian. Drops the phone in seltzer or in like champagne, and that's it. And they stand up, and it's like the aisle next to him like gets up with 2 pistols, and then and then he gets up, goes out.
So you think they're gonna do Modern Warfare 3?
Yeah, they're gonna do fucking Modern Warfare 3. They're gonna do no Russian. Do you remember what no Russian is?
Mm-mm.
No Russian is one of the biggest video game moments in history. In Modern Warfare, there was a campaign mission called No Russian. You played as the Soviets.
Oh, and you
enter the airport.
Yeah, and you mow everybody down.
All the civvies.
Yeah.
One of the most controversial gaming moments.
Yeah, because it was like you're literally promoting
just
shooting.
Slaughter.
Yeah.
You don't have to kill anybody in that mission. You don't have to. You can sit there with your gun, just walk.
And watch everybody
and
else.
just watch everything happen and just walk through.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Is it an achievement if you don't kill any civvies?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't even remember. But I know that you don't have to. But a lot of people just assume that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just do it. Which is a whole type of like statement on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But
did you do it?
No.
You didn't kill anybody?
No.
Really? I was mowing motherfuckers.
I just chill. But here's the thing, right? So one of the biggest things in like gaming history is that mission. And so like that's why everybody like memes on it, everybody talks about it and always goes like no Russian and stuff like that, right? And so as soon as like the like please fasten your seatbelts come on, you literally see me go because I like instantly like no Russian, dude, and then like they start building a pistol. I'm like no Russian, and then it pops up on the screen. I'm like I fucking knew it. I'm so fucking smart. But like
Basically, they're doing it again.
yeah, and that's insane to me because the risk that is doing this in nowadays.
Yeah, like back then, it was like the shootings weren't not even close.
Not even close, and people were not as like
opinionated on.
Yeah, and the gaming wasn't in like the
yeah.
public eye as much, and now like that's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And I haven't read any of the articles on it, but I'm sure shit's blowing up right now.
Probably.
Anyway, that's my take on Modern Warfare. It's great.
Good.
Love it. Oh, real quick, the reason why they released it a week early is so that in the game industry, your day one sales and your day one active users on multiplayer games is super important. So your active like users playing multiplayer is super important. You have a bunch of content creators who've now already played the campaign instead of trying to race through it and like burn that shit out the day of release. You have a bunch of people who wanted to play it, have played through it now, who don't have to worry about it. You have a bunch of publicity for the content and that campaign and
all
stuff.
The guns that they showed and
pre-order sales. Yeah. And then not only that, now everybody day launch is just going to go straight into multiplayer. Your active users now look fucking astronomically good because everybody's playing the multiplayer. Something like that, yeah. But like super fucking smart for them to release it.
What a bunch of thugs.
Anyway, that's that. So we're gonna wrap it up here, but real quick, we have a special announcement.
Oh, facts.
This coming, it'll probably drop on Sunday or Monday, so either the 30th or the 31st. We're going to drop a Halloween special episode, a little bonus one.
This is Halloween.
It'll be a normal length episode, more than likely. We're gonna talk about some spooky stuff. We're gonna talk about Halloweens from yesteryear, and we might even share some spooky stories.
Some spooky shares.
But you'll have to tune in. Not spooky sex. Not this again.
Bro. I still want. Never mind.
You'll have to tune in though. But anyway.
Oh shit.
So get hyped for our Halloween episode.
Oh yeah, brother. Yeah, wrapping this shit up.
Where can they find you? Well, we'll also be dressed up.
Yeah, facts. Got to tune in to see what we look like. You guys can find me at Instagram and Twitter at KillerB420 and Twitch at KillerB420 and TikTok at KillerBDabs.
Sick. You can find me at RQ on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, and
not Instagram. Fuck Instagram.
Did I already say Twitch?
Yeah.
That's it.
You can find us at Coming Up for Air on Instagram and Up for Aircast on Twitter and Coming Up for Aircast on TikTok.
Yeah. If you like the podcast, make sure to share it with a friend or rate the podcast and subscribe. It really does help us. It gets our numbers up and gets us going and being seen by other people.
Especially, yeah, bro. See, if you know someone who needs to get off their high horse and go be a good person like I did to myself, send this to them.
Yeah.
Hello.
But normally this is the part where I say Wednesday's around the corner or see you next Wednesday. But I guess in this case it'll be
see you this weekend.
See you on Halloween.
You're